Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Thunderstorm podcast. Today we're talking about antiheroes and whether it's antiheroes or antiheroes, because I actually don't know, and I'm probably going to alternate between them repeatedly throughout this podcast. I'm Rin, and with me is Kazanarius.
Hey guys, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
And Sliv.
Did somebody say gun?
Now, going to this, we have to ask the question, what really is an antihero? By definition, and according to our good friend at Google, a antihero is a central character in a story, movie, or drama who lacks conventional heroic attributes. But in my opinion, I think that it actually goes a little bit deeper than that. I think that this is, that definition is what you start with when making an anti-hero, but I think there's so much more that goes into making one, and especially making an effective one.
How would you define an anti-hero?
So for me, I think it's two-parted, because I think two instances I really thought of for this moment for characters that would be considered anti-heroes that I really like are Kratos and Travis Touchdown. And both are, I mean, how fucking different are these guys? I kind of see it as my favorite anti-heroes aren't inherently heroic. Like, their main goal isn't to save the world, but sometimes that's just like maybe a symptom of what they end up doing. When I look at anti-heroes that I really like, it's usually a character that has a lot of negative or inherently anti-heroic qualities, but is also like a character that you want to find some kind of redemption in. With that said, I think it's also important to separate, and I know that's like a meh definition, but I think it's also important to separate playing as an anti-hero and playing as an actual fucking villain. You know, playing as Venom in Ultimate Spider-Man is awesome, but for the most part, you are legitimately terrorizing the fucking city around you and just being a menace. And I feel like that's very different from a protagonist with a through line.
Well, to be fair, Spider-Man's a menace.
Oh, he is.
Absolutely. I want pictures of Spider-Man!
I want pictures of Spider-Man naked on my desk tomorrow.
I don't know why J. Jonah Jameson suddenly has a southern accent, but he wants pictures of Spider-Man right now!
On the other hand, it's like, you wouldn't call the protagonist of Hatred a fucking anti-hero. Right?
No, Hatred's Hatred Man is straight a villain. Your goal is to kill.
Sorry. My apologies. His name isn't the protagonist of Hatred. His name is not important. So, yeah, I mean, usually there's some morally gray in there, and there's got to be some kind of hook to their character. What do you guys think before we get into any of them? Although I've already brought up two, so, whatever.
I think that the definition, at least the online definition is really lacking. I think that,
yes,
realistically, an antihero is not someone that just lacks conventional heroic attributes, but ends up in a position where they can be heroic or do something heroic in spite of their negative attributes.
Sure.
If I were to classify an anti-hero in the typical D&D alignment chart, an anti-hero would be chaotic neutral. They'll do whatever serves them best to get across their goals.
I
be it saving the city. Yeah. If I have to rip and tear a little bit, I'll rip and tear.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that necessarily, because I think that outside of, like, lawful good, a anti-hero could be anywhere on that chart.
That's true.
I think it's
Usually
very...
in the chaotic spectrum.
Oh, yeah. I think it's very easy to make an anti-hero that is chaotic neutral. Because it's easy to make a character that's chaotic neutral, but with an anti-hero, it lends itself very well to that. I think it's more interesting, though, when it's a chaotic evil that's an anti-hero, or a chaotic good that is clearly an anti-hero.
Yeah, I think you just brought up a great one, which is the Doomguy chaotic good or chaotic evil? I don't know. After playing through so many Doom games, all I know is that I'm having a great time playing as him, and usually his intentions go the entirely opposite of whoever you're, like, talking to in the game, which is actually part of the thrill. Insert, you can't just shoot a hole in the surface of Mars. Like, there's so many parts in, like, Doom 2016 where it's like, am I fucking, like, there's, like, a point where, like, Samuel Hayden, I don't know how much you guys know about the Doom 2016 storyline, but, like, there's a facility that's overrun by demons, and it's because of this fucking ardent energy that's literally just power from hell. And Samuel Hayden's, who's, like, runs the facility, is like, okay, we've got these things that are, like, power from hell. They've put humanity technologically thousands of years forward. If you destroy this, we are fucked, like, so much in that regard. Please don't do that, Mr. Doomguy. And he does it. He just destroys fucking all of it. Because he can. And because it's funny. Yeah, for that, it's, like, hard to say if his motivation is, I need to kill all the demons because demons are fucking up Earth, or I need to kill all the demons because I'm just so angry at demons.
I'm angry.
Again, result is the result ends up being our savior, our boy, our Doomslayer who saves everybody in the end. But I don't know what our Doomslayer's motivations are. And while I made a whole video about how I wished I knew about them, by the end of the last DLC of Doom Eternal, I was entirely okay with not knowing them.
So what I'm getting here is that you're a demon apologist.
Oh, I'm not a demon apologist. Rip and tear, boy. Kill them all! Kill them all! No, fuck that.
Welcome
all
to your new
go.
island.
All of them gotta go.
Quote
They all
Kazanarius.
need to fucking die.
Quote Kazanarius 2021. They all.
I'll be Demon Hitler. That's fine. That's fine. Burn them all. Put them all into ovens. Fuck those demons.
Oh no. Oh,
I will personally lead the demon holocaust.
Well, the demons basically live in a giant oven as it is.
That's true.
And Mars, but Mars is like a giant freezer, so...
I guess I'll have to figure out something else. Maybe like a giant bathtub with, like, giant toasters I can throw in. I don't know. I need to find the most efficient way to murder all of those bastards.
Well, to be fair, there is water on Mars now, so you could fill up a bathtub on Mars.
Right.
And
With
throw
them-
toasters into it, and then
Right,
just,
and-
like, drown a couple Keiko demons.
And with Mars, there's already a hole in the surface of Mars that we can use as the bathtub.
There we go.
Is
Maybe
Kazanarius...
maybe I'm an anti-hero.
Yeah, I was about to say, is Kazanarius an anti-hero?
It does feel like cheating when it's Doom, because it's like, literally, like, you can't feel bad about murdering fuck tons of demons because they're demons. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, there's
The
no one
dude-
going like, well,
poor
actually,
demons.
have you ever thought
Yeah.
about how the demons felt in all this?
No.
John, you are the demons.
I guess usually, power fantasies sort of correlate with the anti-hero.
Yeah. I mean, it's very indulgent and almost anti-hero-y to be on a huge power trip and kind of going crazy and stuff. You don't generally have, like, you're not going to see, like, a Mario power fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Where you just, like, destroy a couple thousand Goombas. Unless Nintendo wants to prove me wrong, because that would be sick.
I was gonna say, I'm sure there's a whole section of Newgrounds just for people like that.
Oh yeah, Newgrounds Mario, definitely an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Is the Duck Hunt dog an anti-hero?
That bastard never did anything heroic, okay?
Well,
That's a villain, dude.
That's a villain.
Straight
Fuck
a
that
villain.
guy.
What a piece of shit. Laughing at me.
Yeah, I've got a strange one that I've actually really thought about lately, and that's the guy from Pokemon Coliseum, who I will say is probably the most interesting Pokemon protagonist to date.
That's Trenchcoat Man, right?
Trenchcoat Man, at the beginning of Coliseum, is working for like the evil organization Team Snag'em, who is just stealing people's Pokemon with literally a fucking machine called the Snag Machine. And the
That
first
team
thing
name
that
is
happens,
Did you just say
yeah.
their team name was Team Snag'em?
yes, dead ass serious.
What the fuck is that?
Okay, but like here's the best part. So the video game. Yeah, the video game begins with Team Snag'em headquarters, and our main character literally just fucking bombs the shit out of the place. Probably kills like 12 people with the bomb. They don't mention it because it's Pokemon, but like he just bombs the shit out of, like, plants multiple C4 charges in the fucking place, steals the Snag'em machine, and fucks off. That's our protagonist for Pokemon Coliseum. Now, very unfortunately, the rest of the game is him being very heroic. But that kind of, like, morally gray area is actually, like, a really interesting place for your protagonist to start. And I
Yeah.
really wish we had characters in Pokemon games that, like, actually have history. And it doesn't need to be to the point where they're blowing up factories.
Dude, no, I want the next Pokemon game to start like every other, where you go to the lab and you just bomb the lab and take one of the Pokemon after the professor says you can take one.
Man, imagine if you're just mystery from Pokemon Gold and you just steal your and it's from the other perspective of just like you being the rival and you just steal the first Pokemon instead of take
You just ruined the protagonist's life.
yeah, that would actually be a really fun mod that actually probably already exists. Who are we kidding? But yeah, it's that was a really strange beginning to a really strange Pokemon game, and I actually really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a really cool game.
Yeah. I kind of wish it wasn't so inaccessible, honestly.
Oh, absolutely. Fuck paying $100 for it or whatever it's going.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I have a copy.
Coliseum's $100 now?
Yes.
It's getting up there, yeah. It's pretty
And
brutal.
I'm pretty sure the main reason for that is just because there's ribbons that you can get only from that game.
That and it's trapped on the GameCube, which has an issue of, like, games on the GameCube are just ridiculously collectible.
Yeah, for some reason the GameCube is ridiculously collectible. Maybe because it's sold not a lot, but...
Now, is
Yeah.
the people collecting GameCube games anti-heroes? Have they done anything heroic?
No.
No, the
There's nothing
villains.
fucking heroic about
No.
that asshole.
However, what I will say is people who collect games solely to rip their ROMs and put them online, they are anti-heroes. Because
Actually,
they're
probably.
committing an illegal act, but they're doing it for the greater good of
They're
game
preserving
preservation.
history. I can actually really get behind that motivation.
Yeah.
Even if a symptom of that is, ripping off fucking companies. But fuck companies. Actually,
we totally don't condone piracy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Man, let me tell you something. One of the first ROMs I ever played was Yoshi's Island for the Game Boy Advance, and it started with a thing from the Rom Ripper, a screen from the Rom Ripper that just said, "Hey guys, thanks for downloading this ROM," and a big fuck you to Nintendo. and it's a slow scrolling text, so I'm like, this guy is awesome.
Okay, is the person who modded that one sailor in Pokemon Fire Red on the ROMs to say, if you like this game, buy it or die an anti-hero?
Epic. Epic. No, that's just a creepypasta writer, my guy.
Yeah.
I've been thinking, would you consider the cast of any Borderlands game anti-heroes?
I mean, yeah.
Because,
They're definitely not good people.
No, they're definitely not.
they're probably not good people, but, generally speaking, they're immediately doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, take any group of the guys from any of the games and, almost immediately they're defending little outskirt towns, or just, fighting against whatever big bad the game has conjured up.
I think it's the same vein of, asking, is Duke Nukem an anti-hero?
True.
Because, he's doing a good thing. He's trying to stop an alien invasion. But his motivation is totally selfish.
Yeah, Duke's kind of a terrible person in general, even though he is kind of saving the world from an alien invasion.
Oh yeah, he's an ass. But, a lovable ass.
We have to ask ourselves, does he go into chaotic good when he shits in a toilet, then picks up the shit, then throws it at the wall?
No, he uses it as a marker on the whiteboard.
Right.
No, lawful good. He's actually just a pure hero.
Now, I feel bad for the custodian that had to clean up after Duke.
Now that's the hero.
That's the real hero here.
Yeah, I think they both kind of fit in the same question of, well, did they qualify because they're doing good things? But they clearly... I think all the characters in Borderlands are generally pretty morally gray, generally.
Yeah. You can say that their motivation is treasure. It's usually what the game produces as as the motivation for the characters. I guess it's sort of like there's a mixed thing going on there where the game says the heroes came there for treasure, but the motivation for us as the players is to, beat the bad guy / save Pandora, usually.
Now, here's a series I don't think anyone can doubt, deny me saying has a bunch of anti-heroes. The Sonic series.
Yeah, can't argue with you there.
It feels like every single time they need to, spice things up. Oh yeah, let's just add another anti-hero. Because, Knuckles started off that way. Shadow, even you can argue Silver, Blaze even.
Oh yeah, that's true. He was fighting her in the first game.
Yeah. It just feels like every time someone sneezes, they make another anti-hero character.
Yeah.
Yes, Charmy B, my favorite anti-hero.
Oh yeah, well, he's annoying enough to have villainous tendencies, honestly.
No, I know, right?
Omega, Rouge the Bat.
Mm,
Depending
Rogue
on
the
the
Bat.
True.
depending on the game, you could even argue Eggman.
Eggman, yeah, he's got the master plan.
Even though he's definitely more of a villain, there are times where he plays the role of an antihero.
What's the bad side of Sonic Adventure 2? Like the villain side, the dark side, or whatever?
Yeah, dark story.
Yeah.
He plays Eggman Shadow Rouge. Yeah,
Is Sonic an anti-hero?
I think it depends purely on the game. There are definitely some games where he treads on that territory just because he has times where he just does it because he's kind of selfish and wants to do it. It also depends on like which continuity you're talking about. Like, there's the UK Sonic comic where, he's just an anti-hero. Him doing good things is almost like completely accidental.
I remember him being kind of a dipshit in Sonic X for some reason.
He was kind of in full too cool for school mode in Sonic X. Yeah, he definitely treads very close to that territory as a character.
Yeah, I don't know. It's, I feel like with him it's just like, man, how cool am I?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm willing to be cool enough to compromise, you know, to slightly compromise doing the right thing, but end up doing the right thing in the end anyway, so...
No, his theme song literally says he won't compromise.
Oh, shit!
I think it also depends on...
World. Damn, now we have to put my version of his world in this spot.
I think it also depends on which characters he's around, because if he's on his own, he definitely is more as an anti-hero. If you add like a whole bunch of the other characters, he starts going more squeaky clean, it feels like.
Honestly, you add most of the other heroes, and the story ends up being kind of shit, usually.
I kind of like when Sonic stories get a little bit crazy. But I kind of grew up with that, so...
I guess that makes sense, though, that the more characters you add to a story, generally speaking... Well, I don't want to generalize, but usually in a badly written story, you sort of do need to water down characters to very base personalities.
Well, I think
so
with the case...
It kind of makes sense that in comparison to being around, I don't know, Shadow the Hedgehog... you would want Sonic to seem a bit more heroic.
I also think the thing is, with Sonic as an example again, that Shadow or even Knuckles, they get the things to do that are considered more anti-hero things, and Sonic just doesn't get those things to do. Whereas if he's on his own, well, if we want someone to do a kind of dickish thing, and it has to be like a heroic character, it's going to be Sonic, obviously. And it's in his personality to do kind of weird, dickish things occasionally.
Nah, man, it's gonna be Chris Thorndike.
No, he's just a villain.
That's true. Fuck that kid.
Or, like, Sonic definitely comes off as more of an anti-hero when he's just with Tails. Whereas Tails can never do any wrong and is a pure cinnamon bun in comparison. Yeah, arguably, I think the only character you can argue is, like, true evil in the Sonic series is just Metal Sonic. I don't think there's ever been an occasion where Metal Sonic was a hero. Someone will point out there's some comic where Metal Sonic did a good thing, but...
I feel like there's a bit of Metal Sonic redemption at the end of the Sonic...
oh, yeah, the OVA.
The Sonic movie.
Yeah.
Which I remember for some reason.
Yeah, I almost completely forgot about that. I was thinking about it, like, just when you started to mention it, that the Sonic OVA has Metal Redemption at the end. But that's still not enough to make him an anti-hero.
No.
Strange, isn't it?
Okay, let's get to the next thing.
No.
I want to talk about Travis' touchdown.
Is Travis an anti-hero, though?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he can be a dick.
110%.
And, like, the
But
entire...
he hasn't done anything wrong.
Yeah,
he's literally trying to be the #1 assassin.
But he was, like... He got thrown in there involuntarily.
After killing someone.
After killing someone.
Not to mention the continuity of the first game is fucking weird. Because... honestly, all of No More Heroes is its own clusterfuck, because at the end of the first game, Sylvia calls him and is like, hey, there was never an actual Assassin's League. You just paid me off to do all this crazy assassin shit. And then by number 2, it's like, anyway, none of that happened, and actually there is an Assassin's League, and you're rank 50. Like, Travis's motivation is entirely to get laid, and in number 1. And then in number 2, it's because some asshole killed his friends, and it is just a giant, well, it's literally called desperate struggle, to fucking murder everyone on the way to murdering the big bad guy that murdered his friends. But all like revenge.
But if Travis doesn't murder, he could get murdered.
Yeah, but the whole mess kind of starts because he was a dick to begin with.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
None of what he's doing is, like, truly heroic.
No,
yeah.
It's not heroic.
You could argue that murdering a bunch of murderers might be good for the world, but I don't know about that, man. Like, each game seems to serve up just a new batch of fucking crazies.
Sylvia's the true villain here.
Maybe?
Master of deception, because, Shinobu, she was one of the top 10 in Assassins in the first game, and she's back in the second game still doing assassin shit.
Well, he didn't kill her in the first game.
No, he didn't kill her. But Shinobu was also under the impression that there was a League of Assassins.
Yeah, and she still murdered a fuck ton of people to enter that league, though. That's the thing.
She did.
Like, I don't know. I just...
It's like Sylvia's goading them into it.
Oh yeah, Sylvia's definitely treads past antihero into more of a villainous territory.
Yeah, I think I think our nameless guest thought it up best, or rather brought up best, when maybe 2 years ago we had a podcast on Worst Game Ever about a character with a pure heart who is a master assassin. Like, when you have a character who's a master assassin, I think you're already in morally gray territory.
Yeah, they cannot have a pure heart anymore. Because you're a killer.
You're fucking murdering people. Like,
it doesn't matter if it's like, oh, they're all bad people. You're still killing people.
Self-defense is one thing, and that's a whole other thing. But when you call yourself an assassin, trained to kill people, and then kill people, yeah, I don't think you really align with pure good anymore. Unless, I guess, you're a paladin.
It's okay. My god said I was allowed.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. I guess that's like really, that's lawful good. Oh, fuck it.
Chaotic neutral.
I like... Sorry.
Chaotic good, my bad.
I like Travis a lot. He's just... I liked him a lot more when I was a teenager playing through those games. I will say that I don't think they've aged all that well, but the fun part about Travis is that, he delights in the same degeneracy that we delight in. He likes all the moe shit, he likes anime, he likes video games, and he's a giant fucking nerd. And yeah, he's usually motivated by, well, sex. So,
you know what?
Relatable.
I think I'm getting more and more onto your Travis is an anti-hero wagon here. Now, would an anti-hero wipe his ass when he takes a shit? No, they wouldn't.
Hold up a minute.
Damn. Check and mate.
There's a stupid scene in, like, the Justice League cartoon where Lex Luthor takes over the Flash, and, like, he uses the bathroom. Or no, Flash uses the bathroom as Lex Luthor, and one of the other villains is like, wait, aren't you gonna wash your hands? He says, no, because I'm evil.
fucking epic.
I think hygiene and morality don't go hand in hand necessarily.
I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff with Travis. He's just a very like all the crazy shit he does, all the weird one-liners, all the weird fourth wall breaks. It is almost like a Deadpool-ish type of anti-heroism.
Yeah.
Which can be grating, which is, again, why I don't like it as much these days, as much as I did a teenager. But, overall, I'm still going to play that new No More Heroes game. I'm sure it's probably going to be pretty good.
I'm looking forward to it. Comes out yesterday, actually, I think.
Yeah.
Today, of course, it'll be in the past by the time you listen to this podcast.
Yeah, awkward.
Dear viewer.
Mm.
Now,
let
here's
us know
one.
what you thought.
Let us know what you thought of No More Heroes 3. Now, here's one. Trevor from GTA 5. Is he a villain or an antihero? He's very close. If he is an antihero.
Yeah.
Trevor treads the line really closely, more so than Michael. Michael is definitely more fitting into the anti-hero demographic.
Yeah.
Ooh, Trevor, though, that's difficult.
I do think, and I'm saying this purely from the perspective of somebody who hasn't played through GTA 5 in the fucking 10 years it's been out?
Yeah.
9, 8,
Something
whatever.
like that.
Who knows?
I find Trevor interesting as an anti-hero in the same way I kind of see Kratos as an anti-hero, in that there's an element of this person is a cold stone killer, but at the same time, I really like seeing them be sort of redeemed through their connections with other people.
As someone who's played through GTA 5, Trevor definitely is not someone who gets redeemed, and I
didn't think so.
It's like a very big point that he can't really. He is crazy. Like, there's no doubt about it. He's crazy. He's a psychopath. Arguably cannibalistic. Does things purely for the shit of it.
Definitely a sexual deviant.
Well, that doesn't make an anti-hero. There's nothing wrong with that, everybody at home.
Oh, yes. Lawful good.
Anything that isn't missionary is evil. What does that have to do with anything?
I mean...
I don't know, like...
I know what Trevor does. I know what Slim meant. And that's not what he meant.
No, Trevor likes Gundams and superheroes, so he can't be all that bad.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Clear trait of an anti-hero, likes giant mechs.
Like, Trevor is a piece of shit, but he does have a heart, so to speak.
He has a heart for the few people he cares about. And that list is very small, and most of it's just Michael.
Most of it's just Michael, sometimes Tracy.
Yeah, he does take sort of care about the few people he cares about. It's, like, that one's actually a hard one, because, like, it depends on who you ask, I think. Like, because for a lot of people, I'm sure they'll say, oh yeah, he's a fucking pure villain. There's no way he could be an he's not heroic at the end of the day. And, like, I guess, as a baseline, any GTA protagonist is an anti-hero, like...
You're all doing crime.
Oh yeah, you're doing a whole lot of crime.
Doing horrible things to other people.
CJ is definitely the pinnacle of an anti-hero in the series, though. He made an effort to get out of the business, and he moved to Liberty City to prevent himself from being affiliated with gangs again. And then all that gets fucked up, and he ends up back in Los Santos doing gang shit because his mom died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, if we're talking open world crime games, Saints Row. Definitely an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Nah. Johnny Gat, like, he's a hero, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm not talking about Johnny Gat. Johnny Gat's a Bless his heart. But the protagonist of the Saints Row series... Wait, that's also Johnny Gat, isn't it?
Yeah.
The character you
It
play
is.
as in Saints Row is definitely an anti-hero. I think you can't be... Well, obviously, because you're committing crimes and you're in a gang, but I don't think you could be a pure-blooded hero if you're running down the street swinging a giant dildo like a baseball bat. God, can you believe... Sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Can you believe that a dev team looked at Saints Row the Third and Saints Row 4 and said, okay, we gotta reboot this. Let's make it a more down-to-earth experience that people with characters you can really bond with and understand. Who the hell looks at those games and is like, yeah, no, we need more identifiable characters and need to bring it back. Like, we need to be really down-to-earth and understand, easy to understand.
I'm pretty sure that's the same brain trust that's like, man, the Animaniacs needs a really down-to-earth, gritty reboot.
Like, Saints Row must be the easiest thing in the world to do right. Because just sit down with a notepad and write down every crazy idea you have and build a story around it. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
but
want,
even that's arguable.
like you
People
want
have been asking for decades for them to make a sequel to Saints Row 2, and that's never happened.
I mean, Saints Row 2 even had its wacky moments. I think if it was like Saints Row 2, that'd be fine, but it sounds like they just want to make a generic open world sandbox game and call it Saints Row. Like, it was to the point that I saw confusion about customization on the character, which is silly. Kind of got off on a tangent here, but I'm kind of sad to see the series go that direction. That, like, don't get me wrong, I think Saints Row 4 was a little bit too wacky, but I think Saints Row 3 was just the right kind of wacky. I really enjoyed that game.
Saints Row for the TikTok generation.
Are we getting old?
That is
I think we're getting old, boys.
God, Jesus Christ.
Are we
The
anti-heroes?
TikTok generation.
Are the TikTok generation anti-heroes?
All
Speaking
right.
of people that love money more than anything else, how about Wario?
Oh shit, I was actually about to bring up Wario.
Wow.
Yeah, Wario is a fun character.
Yeah.
So,
He's one that started off as a villain and then evolved into an anti-hero, and I kind of like that. Obviously, there's other examples of that, Shadow, but as an
I can
easy one.
appreciate his one motivation and the different forms that takes in different games. You know, in the WarioWare series and like Master of Disguise, he's a treasure hunter. But like in I said WarioWare. I meant
Yeah.
Wario World and like Wario Land. He's a
Yeah.
treasure hunter. But like in WarioWare, he's like one of my first interactions with the character was like, oh, I'm literally I literally just found this great idea that is just going to, like, I'm just going to make weird twisty games and just make a fuck ton of money off of it. Which is kind of meta, since, like, that's WarioWare Twisted, and it's literally, like, the same idea of just make a rotating little video game, and they sold it and made a fuck ton of money off of it. Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun little character.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that he's continued to evolve over time. He's not... Like, he's always been obsessed with money, but he's found new ways and new ventures and more creative ways to screw over everyone around him at times.
And get more money, yeah.
And get more money.
So, do you think Wario's the kind of person that dopes at the Olympics?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Just making sure.
Now I'm freaking imagining... So, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to find this image again. There is an image floating around of, like, a thing, like, that holds weed, and it's just Skittles. Like, Skittles with a Z, and there's just, like, a Wario wearing, like, a brown outfit, smoking a joint.
Pretty fucking baller, actually.
Definitely an anti-hero kind of move, you know? I like to think the actual Wario put that out there, so that way he can make money on his own likeness.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty funny how far Nintendo's gone with just like with this character though. Like, there's a lot of innovation in those Wario Land games, for the most part. Like,
Yeah. And it
Wario
would have
Land. Sorry.
And it would have been so easy when Wario got his first game to just be like, oh yeah, he's like Wario's evil counterpart, so it's just a Mario game, but you're playing as Wario.
Yeah.
That would have been so easy.
By Wario Land 3, he's like... Wario Land 3 is so funny because you don't die, and every time an enemy hits you, it's a new power. It's a new negative thing that's happening to Wario.
Yeah.
That like helps you traverse. It's a really fun game, actually.
Yeah, the Wario... Man, we need more Wario Land and Wario World. I think it's
We
Wario
do.
World. We need to.
Part of me is just like a little concerned that it's not as profitable nowadays. I don't know why. I don't know why I think that. I just have to assume that there's a reason that they've stopped making a core series, but with Nintendo, that's not always the case.
Yeah, who
Let's be
knows?
real here. You know, when's the last time we got a new Metroid game? Well, I guess that was like two years ago.
We're about to get a pile of them.
I guess we're about to get a pile of them, yeah.
Kaz, don't you dare say Federation Force is a Metroid game.
Yeah,
Eat
oh yeah.
shit.
I you know what, I will, and I'll retain my anti-hero status because of it. But like, I don't know. Shit like F-Zero, I would have to assume that there's a reason they aren't making any more. I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows, man?
Okay,
Hey,
here's,
maybe the F-Zero arcade machines are still doing gangbusters in Japan. Who knows?
Here's one. Is the Star Fox team Antiheroes?
Slippy Toad, definitely.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, villain.
Yeah, high
Villain
key
all the way.
Villain.
The true final boss.
Peppy O'Hare. I think Peppy O'Hare would definitely be an anti-hero.
Why Peppy? Why would he be an anti-hero, my guy?
I personally don't see them as anti-heroes.
Yeah.
I think that they're generally doing the right thing from the start in almost all their games, and it's not necessarily for like fame or money. Though there is obviously like, you know, Fox has a bit of a chip on his shoulder because, you know, Andros murdered his dad.
My name is Fox McCloud. My parents are dead.
So I don't really think that inherently just being like, they are space mercenaries, right? They're technically,
Yeah, I believe so.
they're guns for hire, but they're usually just guns for hire for the right reasons. There is one game where they kind of straddle the line with that. I don't know about Star Fox weird furry game, but you're gonna say which one? The one with the fucking
temperatures.
the one with the fucking blue furry bitch. Okay, I don't fucking remember. Crystal. Okay. There's Star Fox Command Mission is actually really interesting because that game has like 12 different endings, and like they can totally range from like the crew splitting off to like becoming like mercenaries on their own, or like, I don't know, having kids and having them be the new Star Fox. There's even an ending where like Crystal fucks off and like Fox feels really bad about it, and him and Falco just join F-Zero to like drink away their sorrows,
Oh man,
which is like the best ending.
that's amazing.
It's great. So I do think I do think there is like an inherently kind of bad ending in there somewhere. But I don't think the team themselves are anti-heroes.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was gonna mention the main character of Amore, but that you guys wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
Sliv needs to play through that game.
And there's already a whole podcast dedicated to it.
Well,
Check it out.
Link in the sub.
And probably in the top corner, I don't know. Rin, do it.
We'll see if I remember.
I was also going to mention Mao from Disgaea 3. But really, I think usually that's just like any main character from Disgaea usually pushes the line. Usually every main character is some kind of overworld like mastermind who wants everybody to suffer and inevitably ends up doing the right thing. There is usually a fun amount of time before they do the right thing where they're just kind of being assholes. That's usually fun to relish in. Everyone really shits on the plot of Disgaea 3, but like the main character, so I'm going to give you like a quick rundown of 3. The main character is this demon boy, and he really hates his dad. At first, the motivation is because like his dad like broke his game system or something. His dad is like the big demon guy. Later, the motivation is something else, but he's like, okay, if I want to beat my dad, I have to get the title of a hero. So he like kidnaps a guy who has the title of a hero, and like just to switch titles with him, and like he realizes, yeah, turns out having just that title doesn't do jack shit, and like the whole game is sort of him learning not just to be heroic, but like to care for his friends and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the hero who he switched titles with is like becoming more demon-like because he has the demon title of the main character. It's generally fun stuff. I don't know why everyone hates the plot 3. Whatever. Let's get to the next thing.
Guys, is Ched an anti-hero?
Is Ched an anti-hero? I think Ched is definitely an anti-hero.
I'm drunk.
We better move on a little bit quickly on this one because I think I'm about to start yelling again. I think I've yelled enough.
One day.
I think there are few gaming experiences as rewarding as picking up Ched's boss Marita. Personally.
I prefer the Chetty shotgun myself, but
Okay. Well,
feel free to be wrong.
One day for Ched.
we haven't really gone into it. Kratos is a pretty fucking big anti-hero.
Now, being the man who's only played God of War 4, I can say nothing about the mainline trilogy or the not mainline trilogy.
Yeah, from what I generally know about them, he's just an asshole in those games, usually. He is an asshole with a reason to be an asshole. Like, the gods that gave him his powers also hatched a giant plan to make him what he was by, like, murdering the shit out of his family and, like, all of his friends. But, you know, obviously, I haven't played through, like, all of those games, or, like, and I've played through a bunch of 3, but I never got to the end of it. But, you know, God of War 4 is... You've got a very interesting relationship there between him and his son. You know, there's a very tender moment at the beginning where, like, his son is is like about to loose an arrow at that little stag in the snow, and Kratos like reaches out his hand like to like comfort him or like guide him, and he thinks better of it. His own personal struggles and like his reasoning as a father like prevents him from doing this because he doesn't want to like he's scared to like give his son comfort, and like just like a little scene like that says so much about this inherently flawed character. I don't think Kratos is a good guy by the end of 4. It's just kind of him and his son's fun Norse adventure.
Fun.
It's pretty fun.
It's a fun adventure for us. Now,
Yeah.
looking at God of War 4 in hindsight now, I would have appreciated it far more had I played any of the other God of War games that
I
preceded.
won't deny that, yeah.
I think
From what I've seen, God of War 4 is setting up a new story for Kratos and his son,
definitely.
right? Moving on from who he used to be,
Yeah.
right?
I think the big thing is Kratos very early on suffered from the early 2000s being a thing where
Yeah.
every
Straight power
character,
fantasy.
every character was an anti-hero. Every character was morally ambiguous. There were no squeaky clean characters, and even squeaky clean characters were shown in a different light. Even Mario went to prison, for God's sake. Like,
Oh
This
shit,
is-
that's true. Yeah.
this is the time where Mario goes to jail. This is the time where you have the most
Shadow
popular...
the Hedgehog.
You have a character like Crash Bandicoot spanking Cortex in a mainline game. You have even the most squeaky clean of characters coming off way more edgy. Spyro went through an edgy phase
True.
where they toe that line, and even like new characters, Sly, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. These characters are all teetering that line of being anti-hero, and it extends to other series. God of War, like, Kratos is not a good guy in that first game.
Yeah.
There's literally a mini game where you just,
Fuck.
yeah. Which is intrinsically a part of being an anti-hero, I think.
It's like
We
if you
came
can
back
look at
to
a
it.
character and says, this guy fucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can tell
yeah,
he's an anti-hero.
it's clearly no longer morally good. Just
Inherently flawed.
we've come back to the stupid topic again. Yeah, it feels like a lot of like everything that was coming out. If you came out in between like 98 and 2005, you had an edgy kind of anti-hero twist to you. It's kind of fun looking back at some of it, but at the same time, some of it is not held up well because some people just didn't know what made a good anti-hero.
Now, I think I found the perfect formula to find an anti-hero in any video game. If you can queue up a cutscene with this character or gameplay footage of their key attributes, and it mixes perfectly with any Linkin Park song, they're an anti-hero.
That is pretty
True.
good. Yeah, no, that's good. As soon as before you mentioned Linkin Park, I remembered Dante exists.
Yes, he does.
And he is a character that I think screams anti-hero.
Yeah.
Even though I believe he's generally doing the good thing. I can't see
Yeah.
a squeaky clean hero, doing the whole pizza thing.
I mean, he started as a mercenary, so like,
Yeah.
killing demons for money.
But yeah, you do make a good point. Linkin Park, the theme song of every 13-year-old and also anti-hero. And every 13-year-old kind of wants to be a cool anti-hero, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. See also, bad Sonic OCs. The series. We only make fun of them because even though we this is going off topic, but like I do feel like if we got even close to that, if me or Sliv, I'm not okay. I'm gonna say this. I'm not accusing you of making one, Rin. I would assume that you probably did, but like from my perspective, it's only funny to me because I know I would have made one too if I was anywhere near that community.
For the fucking record, you asshole. I did not have a Sonic Ghosty. Thank you very much.
Okay. I believe you. Alright, I think I've exhausted my list.
That sounds like someone that doesn't believe me.
Joel from The Last of Us.
Yeah,
Definitely an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Through his character arc, he was obviously damaged to the point where he thought the only way out was becoming a trafficker or a smuggler, a gun for hire, right?
Yeah.
Being high-key the bad guy.
Yeah, no.
And then when he starts his journey with Ellie, it shows that he actually is a compassionate man, right? And spoilers for The Last of Us. Sorry, Rin, who hasn't played The Last of Us and never will. Too bad the nameless guest isn't here. I can give him Vietnam flashbacks.
He wasn't even in Nam. I'll say it for him.
In my head canon, he was. Joel choosing to save Ellie's life over creating a cure is definitely an anti-hero move. The needs of the one outweigh the needs of the literally fucking everyone else.
I think that's a question, though, that even, like, true heroes get asked sometimes. And they always have... Even, like, a character like Superman, who's, like, the poster boy of not an anti-hero. Except for, one, like, the rare occasions where someone tries to make... But that's irrelevant. Even he gets presented occasionally with, like, oh, yeah, you can save this one person, but if you do, something else will happen, and a whole bunch of other people could get hurt.
Right.
Yeah,
I think in that case, though, it's a little bit more tricky, and definitely he still hits the anti-hero box.
I do think it is easy to say that, Joel's decision did kind of fuck over humanity or whatever. I don't know. I always saw that decision as, yeah, it's selfish. Like, it is. But at the same time, you have to ask yourself, at the state of the world at that moment, how much good would a cure do for that?
I think
for the
is...
world they're living in.
It would have prevented the transmission of the disease any further, right?
Well, maybe, but like here's the
thing,
right?
Widespread distribution.
Well, widespread distribution, ideally, right? But we're living in post-apocalyptic times. There's fuck tons of looters. There's fuck tons of, zombies. There are fuck tons of ways that, one particular group could have found the cure and then, use that as leverage to, like, get ahead of other groups. Like, that still doesn't get rid of zombies.
No, it doesn't.
So
I also think that putting one person above the group is a very potentially human thing. Like, if you're in that position and the person you care about most on the world has to die to save a whole bunch of other people you don't fucking know, that's obviously going to be a very difficult moral question. And yeah, for a lot of people it'll be, I want to save the one person because I care about that one person more than whoever these assholes are.
And then he went and killed several dozen doctors.
Well, the doctors were shooting at him. I don't know.
Well, we didn't say he was a hero.
Were there.
Yeah,
we didn't say he was a true hero.
I'm not justifying Joel. He, It was inevitably his own needs and wants, but whatever. That's what makes the story so compelling at the end of the day.
It was a very selfish move of him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely an anti-hero move.
It is.
Oh, the pizza guy was an anti-hero. He copped that Gyarados at like 1 a.m. in the morning, but also he was high.
Truly an anti-hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he got me my fucking pizza. So, like,
He
that's
did?
pretty heroic. I hope he's doing okay wherever he is. I hope he didn't fucking die
No, he's
from driving high like a fucking moron.
Anti-hero move.
Like, high key, he probably deserves it, but, like, also I really hope he didn't die. He deserves it in the, of course, capacity of driving high, not the capacity of I want this dude to fucking die.
Oh, this is getting
Just to clarify on that one. Just because I started this podcast saying I want to create a holocaust for demons.
So, moral of the story, kids: arrive alive, drive sober.
Yeah.
Well, folks, I hope you've learned something about how you are an anti-hero. I'm an anti-hero. We're all anti-heroes. We're all 13-year-olds. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I hope you had a good time watching today. I've been Ren, and with me has been Kaznarius.
Hey guys, I'm gonna shoot my pizza guy.
And and Sliv.
If you eat pineapple on pizza, you're the real anti-hero.
No, you're just a villain. And we are out of here. Make sure, if you like this, to give us a subscribe or check out some of our other stuff. There have been some pretty cool videos, and we happen to talk about a lot of anti-heroes quite often because they're fun to talk about. And you can also check us out on Twitter at THNDRCLUB. And we have a Twitch, which is the anti-hero of our channel that never gets love, at twitch.tv/thunderclub. And have a good one. See ya.
In this world, gotta make your own way. One is all. In his world, like it's just a gameplay. Never fear the fall. In his world, quickly push your gas. Compromise does not exist in his world. That world's our friend.